somebody that's looking for the truth will find the truth, as Hashem says in the book of Deuteronomy, Sefer Dvarim, chapter 4. He says, if you look for me, you will find me, if you look for me with all of your heart and all of your soul. So the biggest zchut a person can have is if you're looking for the truth. Unfortunately, some people do not look for the truth, but Hashem tries to help them by giving them a chesed, and has the truth smack them in the face multiple times. Sometimes the truth is going to arrive in a seminar. Sometimes the truth is going to arrive in a lecture. Sometimes the truth is going to arrive in a relationship. Sometimes it's going to arrive in a text message. Sometimes it's going to arrive in an email. Sometimes it's going to arrive in a job, a colleague, a friend, a son, a daughter, even a dog, or a cat, or a cow. The truth can arrive in countless different ways. There's actually one tuki. How do you say tuki? Parrot. There's one parrot that made 2 people do tshuva already in Israel. One parrot that made 2 people do tshuva. You know the story of the parrot? So I'll tell you the story of the parrot. So parrot belonged to a Ish Tzaddik. Parrot belonged to Ish Tzaddik in Israel. And when Shabbat would come in, he would say Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. So one day somebody stole the parrot. Somebody stole the parrot. But on Monday or Sunday, he came back to the Rav and brought it back the parrot. And the Rabbi says, oh, my parrot, oh, you found him? He goes, no, for the Rav, I actually want to tell you, I stole the parrot. But after I stole the parrot, I had him in my house. And Shabbat came in, and he kept saying, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. And I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, this parrot knows that it's Shabbat, but I'm smoking a cigarette. And I realized how terrible I am, and I decided I'm going to keep the rest of Shabbat. And now I'm starting to do tshuva. I realize, how could I start my tshuva? By being a thief. So I have to return the parrot. So he told this story to people, and a lot of people met the parrot. It's a real story. And later on, they called the Rav, and it said, for the Rav, wow, you still have this parrot? He goes, no, you're never going to believe it. The same thing happened again. Another guy stole the parrot, came back a week later doing tshuva. Chatanu, avinu, pashanu. He started keeping Shabbat. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. So the parrot helped him do tshuva. Those people had schutz. A parrot made them do tshuva. Sometimes I make him do tshuva. Sometimes a parrot makes him do tshuva. Who knows? Vayiftach Hashem et pi ha'aton. There's a verse in the Torah in Parashat Balak. Parashat Balak, he says, Hashem says, he opened the mouth of the aton, of the donkey, Bilam's donkey. So, and the donkey gave musar to Bilam. He gave him the truth. Bilam didn't like it, like our generation sometimes doesn't like it. Lavdi. So the point is, Rabotai, is sometimes Hashem is going to send you the truth over and over and over in different unusual ways. And the Rambam HaKadosh says, eventually Hashem's patience ends. And he decides, you will not you guys, the Rashaim, will not do tshuva. He decides that person will not do tshuva. Meaning, no matter what, that person will never have the inclination to do tshuva. He decides, I don't want your tshuva anymore. So sometimes these people, so the answer to your question is twofold. Sometimes these people, Hashem decided they will not do tshuva. This is a rare, but it happens. This is rare, but it happens. Yes, but Pharaoh actually did tshuva, by the way. This is rare, but it happens. Certain people, Hashem says, I don't want your tshuva. Sometimes He doesn't want your tshuva this year. Sometimes He doesn't want your tshuva next year or this week. Sometimes He decides, I don't want His tshuva, period. This is, the Rambam says, is the worst punishment on this world. Worse than tzarat, worse than AIDS, worse than losing everything you have, becoming homeless, worse than anything. Why? Hashem decides, you're finished. That's the worst. But sometimes the Vilna Gaon says, sometimes they made so many sins in their life that they've built a klipa, meaning a shell that's made of stone that's covering their heart, that's flesh and blood. And the sins that they've made, so many sins that they've made, got worse. Why did they get worse? Not that they made bigger sins. Sometimes, usually the beginning sins are the worst, and usually you get older, you make lesser sins. He says, no. The klipa got worse. Why? Because each time you made sins, I give you a message, don't do it. I give you a message, do tshuva. Each time you didn't do tshuva, the klipa got thicker. Each time you did sins, I gave you the truth, and you still didn't do tshuva. Now it's harder for you to do tshuva. The klipa is even bigger. You've been going to lectures for 25 years, and you're still not modest. How could it be? Because the klipa is so thick, you could build a house inside it. Why you didn't do tshuva the first time you heard? You didn't weren't like Yitro Vayishma. You weren't like Avraham Avinu Vayishma. You didn't want to hear the truth. You've been going to lectures for 20 years. You still don't want to hear the truth. Why? I get questions. Okay, Torah has answers, but until then, you have to follow what Torah says. I know you have questions, but there's answers. You don't have to wait for the answers, because sometimes the answers take time. Sometimes the answers take time. You still have to do it. Why? You can't be the only Jew that's not doing it. If everyone else is doing it, everyone knows that's the rule. Or you're the only one. The Rambam didn't know what he was talking about. The Stipler Gaon didn't know what he was talking about. The Gaon Mivilna didn't know. Everybody didn't know except you. You came and you gave a chidush to the world. You don't have to be modest. Everybody else has to be modest except you. So people need to understand that each time you hear the truth, Hashem gives you a sign. Hey, this is the truth. Without all the details. You know it's the truth though. And you still don't do tshuva? It becomes more difficult to do tshuva. The klipa becomes bigger. So sometimes those people who tell them the truth, they're going to go against, not because Hashem decided I don't want the tshuva, because they've made so many mistakes with all the opportunities that He gave them, that it becomes much more difficult for them to be receptive, because there's still a huge shell. It's a huge shell. So just like, for example, you have a wall. If it's sheetrock, like most of these houses, if you shoot a bullet through it, it goes right through like it's butter. But if it's like the houses in Israel, you shoot it through the wall, nothing happens. It just makes a little dent and nothing. And then, Chas v'shalom, it can bounce back because it's cement. If the klipa is sheetrock, Baruch Hashem, you can do tshuva. If the klipa is cement, Hashem Menachem, it's going to be much more difficult to do tshuva. Much more difficult. So the hostile, yeah, miskinim. These are people you have to feel bad for.